So Suzanne, you will open first. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, and thank you for coming and sticking around for the third hour of the candidates forums. And thank you to the Tellers and Elections Committee for organizing this election and forum. So I'd like to give a bit about my background. I've served in the English department since 1999. My PhD is in comparative literature from Stony Brook. I'm a full professor. In my years at the college, I've chaired the English Department Curriculum Committee. I've served in English Scheduling and Elections Committees. I've chaired the Academic Senate Student Activities Committee and served as secretary for both the Academic Senate Professional Practices Committee and the Academic Senate Planning Committee. I've been a senator, an alternate, and currently I am an alternate in the Senate. I also am serving on the scholarships committee, and I probably assessed about 200 student applications this year. We need more members there. I'm a member of the Women's Studies Project and an alternate in the English department for the Academic Senate Student Enrollment Committee. I regularly teach online classes. I'm very committed to making our union as effective as possible. We currently are extremely lucky to have Farron Siminoff as our president. I think it will be very hard to find a president to replace her when she steps down. With her knowledge of contract law, her long history of work in the union, and her knowledge of the union, the Senate, the college-wide, the SUNY, Nassau County, with her drive and stamina, her ability to work well with diverse people, and her eloquence as a public speaker, she is a uniquely talented package, and we are just so lucky that she's willing to serve as our president when she could retire. It's due to her dedication to our college and our faculty that she is serving. I have been putting in some very long hours as secretary and as co-chair of the Political Action Committee. I was on campus every day for the past 2 weeks and worked during spring break, but for the most part, I found it very rewarding. However, the union really needs the active involvement of all the executive board representatives, alternates, committee members, and general members. We need your ideas, your positive energy, cooperation, and involvement in our organizing efforts. I believe we can make things better, but we will achieve more. We will go farther if everyone pulls together. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Sean?
Thank you very much. So first of all, I also agree. I want to say thank you to Catherine and the rest of the team to put this event together. Between my planned vacation and the upcoming holidays later this week, it seemed like an impossible task, but I'm glad we are able to make this important event happen. So hi, I'm Sean Novad. If you aren't already aware, I'm the director of the radio station here on campus. In the past 7 years, I've transformed the radio station from a recorded mess, in my opinion, with only 2 students volunteering that was stuck in the past playing music that was 25 or 50 years old that today's students never heard and could not relate to, into an award-winning radio station that has been nominated and has won nationally recognized awards. The station is now proven to be popular with the audience, but now more importantly, it's more well-known on campus and competitive to join as a student. I live, eat, and breathe positive change, and we need that same change in our union, how to communicate with our members, and change in the leadership. The skills I've learned in my professional career and applied to the radio station to get it to where it is today are similar skills that I plan to use to transform the union, increasing internal communication, providing real transparency. There shouldn't be so many secrets between the union leadership and its members. I'm sure some things, especially regarding the contract negotiations, need to be private, but too many details about what the executive committee is doing and what they're asking for on our behalf of all of the members on an everyday basis, even when we're under contract, shouldn't be leaving members in the dark. So please remember that a vote for me is sending a clear message to the current leadership and all of our members that staying the course is not a viable option, not for contract negotiations and not for the future of the college and not for the future of the NCCFT. So please know that I'll work just as hard for all of you as I do every day for the students at WHPC and Nassau Community College. We can't keep doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. Make the change that is needed, make that change that's needed by placing your vote in the right way. And specifically to the non-classroom and PFU members watching, more representation on the executive committee can't hurt. But I promise to lead on behalf of all members. Some people have said they don't feel it's always been that way. I'll make that promise to you now. Suzanne mentioned just now that we need more involvement from the executive committee and its members, the union members, and I could not agree more. And by the way, I'm making these promises while on vacation in Florida. I'm in Boynton Beach right now. It's a planned trip made well before I decided to run for this position. But work for the radio station doesn't stop just because I'm over 1,000 miles away. Trust me, my phone can tell you. And work for the union wouldn't stop either. I'm sorry that I'm also going to miss tomorrow's general union meeting, but I hope that my friends going will catch me up, because I unfortunately probably won't hear anything afterwards from our current leadership. Suzanne said we were lucky to have that current leadership. I don't think the luck has been so good lately. If I do hear something about the meeting, it will unfortunately likely be a lot of negativity. So let's find some positivity over the next 2 years and bring in the change that is so badly needed. Thank you for your time and good luck to all of the candidates in all of the positions.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, so the first question Suzanne will answer first. Number one, the position of secretary has grown to have many responsibilities besides minute taking. How many hours a week would you be able to dedicate to this position's work? What responsibilities do you envision taking besides minute taking? The current secretary has 6 contact hours of release time.
Okay, thank you. I've been working far more than my 6 contact hours of release time. I've had several 14 or 16-hour days, in fact. The fact that my 2 daughters are grown or in college and my husband's retired and very supportive have really been helpful to me in putting in those long hours. I envisioned continuing to work on the Political Action Committee in the coming year. I do think it's extremely helpful and practical for the secretary to be centrally involved in the Political Action Committee, since obviously media releases and so forth need to come from that Google Works account. And its features such as groups, forms, documents, Excel sheets, so forth are very helpful for organizing members. To save money, we only have 1 user for our account and also for the Zoom account. And it also has made the devices probably more secure in limiting the devices that are using them. Of course, I've not only been encouraging others to be active and coordinating efforts, I've also tried to be very involved in the organizing actions. I've spent hours and hours phone baking, leafleting, creating posters, preparing to speak at rallies, at the Board of Trustees several times, at the Nassau Legislature several times. I've addressed the crisis of technologists. I've repeatedly called attention to the particular pain of the junior faculty, and I've argued for what the college could do with more funding to expand enrollment and serve our students better. I would argue that you really need to be involved as a participant, not just as a coordinator. And one reason is because part of organizing is making connections with individuals, and working with others in political actions is one of the best ways of making those connections. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Sean?
Thank you, Catherine. So the question was, how many hours would I be available and what would I be doing besides minute taking? So time is as many hours as necessary. I mean, it's about the same philosophy I have with the radio station. I wish I only worked the 35 or so hours that the contract provides. Unfortunately, I don't. And I would bet most of the professional, non-classroom, PFU, however you want to describe yourself, I bet most of the non-classroom faculty do that. You have to sometimes go above and beyond to get your job done and to make the difference you want to make. In fact, I know that the great teaching faculty we have here at NASA go way above and beyond for their students. I also am, for the first time, an adjunct teaching in the communications department, and I understand what it means to go above and beyond the 3 hours plus office hours that you have each week. The same would be true for my work with the NCCFT if I was elected to this position. If I was needed to be in a meeting or on a call or anywhere else union related, just ask and I'll get the coverage needed at the radio station and attend whatever is needed. And I'll be honest, I can't just drop everything and leave the station on a last minute call. Someone has to be with the radio station, and I have limited part-time staff. As you know, budgets are cut, not just in the full-time union, but part-time as well. But we can always have the meeting or event at the radio station in the H building. There are private areas we can do that as well. So if things are last minute, it does make it easier for me to be involved on a short notice. And the other part of the question is, what responsibilities do I envision taking on besides minute taking? Again, anything that's asked of me. If a union member needs help, if something needs to get done, just ask. You know, that's my philosophy with the radio station. It would be the same philosophy I have with the union. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, so Sean, you're going to be answering the second question first. When did you start helping the union and how?
Thank you. I've been a union member since 2016 when I joined the college full time. I've been involved on the other end of union activities, including being on the losing end of an arbitration hearing. I can tell you that story privately. But in terms of union work, I've been a member of the Student Code of Conduct Committee, and I was the chair of that committee for about 3 years, 2019 through 2022. I've sat through numerous hearings deciding the fate of students who have been accused of doing something wrong with other members of our union and student representation, as well as administration. I've helped create conduct changes, code of conduct changes for the pandemic, including online and hybrid code of conduct regulations. I understand Robert's Rules of Order. It's how we ran the meetings and still do. And I'm ready to lead in the bigger picture and in as many ways as possible if elected. I have not had a tremendous amount of union experience. I'm sure my opponent will be quick to mention that, but that doesn't mean I can't learn just as quickly as I did about how the college works and working up the ranks to get tenure and everything else past that.
So I was elected as English department alternate for the NCCFT in the fall of 2019 or spring of 2020, and it's a little bit blurry to me right now. But while alternate, I joined the NCCFT Bylaws and Constitution Committee, and that work is very much in need of updating. I understand there's a lot of work going on right now in the committee, so hopefully we will soon be able to vote on a new document there. I ran for the position of Vice President of Classroom Faculty in the election of 2020. And then when the position of Secretary opened up at the end of 2021, I ran for Secretary. I began to work on blog articles and so forth in January of 2022. I won the election and assumed the position of Secretary in February of 2022, and I've been Secretary now for about 13 months. So, of course, I'm also very involved right now in the Political Action Committee.
Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, so question number 3, Suzanne's going to answer first. What are the responsibility of this position? How would you fulfill these?
Of course, one responsibility is helping keep track of meeting dates and creating agendas and then formatting them and the planning of the agenda and then formatting and distributing them. Minute taking of the executive board, executive committee meetings with the administration, general meetings, and negotiation meetings. And we've had about 26 or so, it seems, since June. Some of them have been short, really too short, is a point that I think our attorney made in the Zoom meeting. And some of them have been long, and I understand sometimes they're about like 10, 12 hours. And then minute taking, unfortunately for the secretary, the work is both during the meeting and then several hours after the meeting. I mean, I often spend almost as much, maybe more time on my minutes for the negotiations as I do in the meeting. Keeping track of charts for the negotiation. Our attorney had several requests there, 2 different kinds of charts she wanted. With the other EC members, I work on blog articles. Sometimes I do the first draft. Sometimes I'm revising and editing drafts. Really, those are very much, most of them I'd say are very much group efforts. I have built the Google listservs. I've got a NASA members listserv. I've got all of the NCCFT members listserv. I've got a listserv now for retirees. So building those and maintaining those are secretarial responsibilities. The secretary communicates with the communications committee members as needed to make sure that we have secure and functional platforms such as our Zoom. Right away after I assumed the position of secretary, actually, we decided we needed our own private Zoom account. And so worked with Jason Gorman in researching that and creating that. We also, in March, shortly, there were issues with the old blog. We ended up over the summer, well, actually in April, May, and June, I was coordinating research with the members to look into what our options were there. I'm happy to say that with the communications committee, we now have a Google Work and a blog, which are saving us about $2,000 a year from what we were spending. Of course, this secretary does social media responsibilities now, Facebook, Instagram, and helps set up and host Zoom meetings and weighs in on political strategy and negotiation with the rest of the executive committee.
Thank you, Suzanne. Sean?
Thank you. So what does the secretary do? I don't want you to think that I haven't done my homework. I've read the Constitution, bylaws, everything that's on the website. The secretary shall record and distribute minutes of general membership, executive committee, and executive board meetings. The secretary shall be responsible for preparing summaries of meetings held with the college administration, elected public officials, and representatives from the state and national affiliate organizations. The secretary shall keep a record of all negotiating committee meetings. And it sounds like Suzanne has done a fabulous job doing all that. I'm not going to argue. I think everything's been great. I want to do more than just be somebody who types out minutes. I want to be somebody who's involved in the union. So as far as above and beyond, I hope that we can work as a team, as an entire committee, along with members of the union to finally figure out this contract situation, attending bargaining sessions or whatever else is asked of me. I would love to create regular blog posts, as Suzanne was saying, with updates to the membership with what I and the rest of the committee would be doing on behalf to improve communications. I'll do whatever it takes to improve on our current situation, because what we've been doing in the past term, especially, is just not working for me. And of the people I've spoken to around campus, I don't think it's working for them either. I think you would agree the status quo is not working for us. So I'll be easily able to take care of the responsibilities of secretary, but it's the bigger picture that I'm looking to get myself involved in. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Sean, you're going to be answering the next question first. How would you go above and beyond as Secretary of the Union?
I believe I just answered that. I thought that was the same question. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna pass that to Suzanne, because I said I would do anything and everything it takes.
Okay. All right, Suzanne.
Oops. So I look forward to continuing being very involved in the Political Action Committee. And it's going to be a very busy year this coming year. All of the Nassau legislature are up for re-election. I think that we have already created a presence. All of you who have gotten emails in response to your email, you know that that legislature is feeling the pinch and knows that many people in Nassau County are aware that NCC faculty need a fair contract. So we're going to continue to have a strong political presence, and I expect to be very much involved in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Okay, last question. Suzanne's going to go first. Writing skills are essential for a secretary position. Do you have essential writing skills?
Yeah, so I've participated in the writing, as I said, sometimes creating the first draft, sometimes working on other people's drafts in more than, I think, 60 blog articles this year, which I think it's been like an average of 1 or 2 a week. I mean, we've been doing a lot of writing. We also write letters to elected leaders. I've drafted petitions. We had 2 of course, working with other people, getting feedback. And our president and David Stern are also, they're both very involved, and also Caitlin Thurber. So I think the approach is the more eyes and perspectives, the better in creating a strong document. So yeah, also my writing skills are important, I think, in my communication with members. Most of my communication with members is through email. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Sean?
So writing skills are, of course, essential for this position. And this question to me made it sound like one of us is not educated enough to be in the union or on the executive committee. So I know this isn't true of my opponent, and it's not true of me either. I've been secretary of organizations, including my own college radio station going way back. I've been the official minute taker at meetings in my professional career, and I write minutes for WHPC's all staff meetings as well. I create PowerPoints. I've written scripts for radio, especially such as morning show bits, commercials, promos, station IDs, and the like for the radio, both here and over my 23-year professional career. I write creatively, in my free time, and I promise you that I have the skills needed to fulfill the basic requirement when it comes to writing for this position.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, so Suzanne will close first.
A little over a year ago, I was elected NCCFT secretary. My promise then and now is to work hard to make our union effective. I strive for clear, transparent, and timely communication with members. I try to treat all members with courtesy. I am focused on creating a stronger contract with better compensation and working conditions for all members. I work to present your needs to the college, the county, and the state. I have worked to increase county and state support for the college and for our full-time faculty. I see increasing student enrollment and retention, as well as increasing faculty lines in programs and offices as intertwined priorities. Financial aid, biology, nursing, computer, animation, theater are some of the areas where if we had more faculty lines, we could serve more students and run more classes. I'm working to create a stronger future for our members, our students, the college, and Long Island. I really believe that, particularly if we work together, we can improve conditions. I also recognize the challenges we face. It may well take more than one contract cycle to get a contract that we can say is a gold standard among faculty contracts, but I'm willing to put in the work. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Sean?
I couldn't agree more about it taking potentially more than one contract round to make that happen. But in closing, I hope I was able to change some minds about where you might be placing your votes next week. And the amount of people on this Zoom, right now there's only 50 participants. It's just a small slice of the total membership. So if I said something that stuck with you, I hope you'll tell your friends and coworkers who missed this meeting about it. Not sure if the recordings are being posted or what the recordings are for. We can maybe get into that later. But because deep down, I said it before and I'll say it again, we can't keep doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. Suzanne mentioned the legislator hearing us, and they definitely have, but the legislature has very little involvement other than approving what the negotiating table comes up with. We can make our voices loud and they're listening. I just wish we directed our energy in a smarter direction and in a way that isn't so abrasive. There needs to be a better approach. I have immense pride for Nassau Community College and of course the radio station. I walk around in an NCC jacket. It's hard to see because of the way the camera is going. Or shirt or sweatshirt. I proudly bought these myself. I give out Nassau Community College and radio station shirts to my students to represent that pride. And I want the union to be looked at with respect. And I want our members to have the same pride for the union that I have for the radio station. I know with my leadership and the leadership of others, we can make it happen with change. I want the change. I want the cooperation, and I want to be your next secretary. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean and Suzanne. This will conclude the forums. So thank you everyone for being here this evening. Voting will begin on Monday, April 10th. And good night, everyone.